Hello and welcome to the Cake Tip. Today we're going to be making almond and oat yoghurt tart. This is gluten-free, sugar-free and good for your gut. We're going to start off with a 9-inch round loose bottom tin, which you're going to line with greaseproof paper. This doesn't need to be perfect. As long as it covers the bottom, that's all you need. Then we're going to need a large bowl to place all of our ingredients into. First of all, we're going to create our base. The first ingredients you're going to need to pop into your bowl is 75 grams of oat flour. Now this oat flour needs to be certified gluten-free oat flour, not just your normal oat flour. Next we're going to add 40 grams of almond flour, 1 tablespoon of stevia, a pinch of salt and a pinch of baking soda. The baking soda is to help the mixture bind together to make the base firm. You're going to need 85 grams of butter, which you'll need to cut up into cubes and have left it out the fridge just for a little while to soften up. This will be followed by 30 grams of cream cheese, and you want to do exactly the same, chop it into little squares before you add it. Now you're going to add 1 egg yolk that needs to have been beaten. Pop that in, and then the last thing that you're going to be adding will be half a teaspoon of almond extract, just to enhance the almond flavour. Once all of your ingredients is in the bowl, you're now going to mix it together. You can either use a spoon or a fork to press it all together to combine, or you can pop it into a food processor, which is what I'm going to do, just because it's quicker and easier. You'll get the same end result. It should be nice and firm and sticking together. It will be a little bit stickier than a normal dough to touch, so it can be difficult to push into the tin. But as long as you take your time over this stage, then you'll get there in the end. Pop your mix in the tin, all of it, and try and spread it about if you can. Then you're going to use the back of a spoon to try and press it down into the tin. Now this process takes a lot longer than a standard base for a flan or cheesecake or anything, so you're going to need to be really patient because it does tend to stick to your fingers quite a bit. I would allow probably 15 minutes just to get the base right, but it is worth it, and it does end up nice and smooth and even, giving you a better topping. Once the mix is all over the bottom of the tin, you can start to use a palette knife to smooth it round. You're going to need to take it up to the edges as well to create the size of the base. This is a very thin base, so you have to make sure that you cover the whole of the bottom and there isn't any see-through parts that will break during baking. This is the end result you're looking for. So once it's nice and smooth, it's gone all the way up to the edges, and it's roughly the same size around the edges as well, the same thickness. You're going to pop that into the fridge for a couple of hours at least, preferably overnight. This needs to be really cold before we bake it. Remove your base from the fridge, and you're going to place a piece of greaseproof paper in the bottom. This is going to need baking beans or rice on the top. If you're using rice, you will need to have enough rice to hold down the greaseproof paper to make sure that the base is nice and flat. Place that in the oven for 20 minutes, and then you will need to create an egg wash. The egg wash is 1 egg beaten, and then you'll need a brush. Remove your base from the oven after 20 minutes and it should look like this. It should have pulled away from the sides and be nice and coloured. Brush your base with the egg wash. It doesn't matter that it's still warm, you can do it straight away. Make sure it's completely covered all over because this is going to stop the top of the tart seeping into the base. Once it's completely covered, pop it back in the oven just for a couple of minutes. While your base is baking in the oven, you're going to create the top. First of all, you're going to need a large bowl and place 3 large eggs in the bowl, followed by 25 grams of stevia or the sweetener of your choice. Next, you're going to add 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. You're now going to need to whisk this all together before we add the yogurt. This means to be fully combined and no grains of sweetener left. Once your mix looks like this, you're ready to add your yogurt. Now your yogurt needs to be full fat, plain yogurt. Just to get the health benefits of it. Once you start having reduced fat yogurt, you start to lose the health benefits for the gut. You want all of the probiotics that come with natural yogurt. Some of these will be lost during baking, but we're going to top it with a thin layer of the yogurt at the end, unbaked. Now all of your yogurt's in the bowl, you need to whisk this all together to make a lovely creamy mix. It will be a mix that seems a little bit jellified, and then you'll know that you've got it right. This is how you want it, just a little bit wobbly. And then you know it's perfect and ready to go into the base. Now you're going to add it to your base. It doesn't matter that your base is still warm. This is perfectly fine. You're going to pour your mix straight inside, and if it's a little bit too much, just hold a little bit back, but it should be the correct quantity. Nice and slow because you don't want to let it damage the edges of the tart. Once the yogurt mix is in the tart, you're going to bake it in the bottom of the oven for approximately 20 minutes. When it's done, it should be slightly yellowing and slightly jiggly in the centre. You don't want it to be at a stage where it's not moving. Allow it to cool completely in the tin. Once your tart's cooled and you've removed it from the tin, we're going to top it with the yogurt. Just half a cupful, and you can spread it all, a thin layer all over the top of the tart, and then top with berries of your choice and berry powder of your choice. Thanks for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and remember to subscribe for future videos of all different dietary needs.